Welcome back, BMB Podcast, episode 5. If you guys have been tuning in, I want to thank you for watching all the videos. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Smash the like button on all the videos. And also comment down below what you want to hear us talk about. But without wasting any more time, we're going to get straight into it. We got a special guest here. Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Mackenson Fenelon, and I'm a media buyer for BMB.
Yes, sir. How long you been media buying?
Media buying, it's been like a year now, no?
A year?
Since you've been?
Yeah. Well, you were running stores prior to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to talk about?
Yeah. Kind of just get into it. Like talk about
like the start from e-commerce, like of your e-commerce journey, and then the transition to BuildMyBrand and what you do.
Yeah. So like my e-commerce journey started like 3 years ago when I was working at Little Caesars. And still in school. So shout out to Little Caesars. I had to apply to so many jobs to get that first job at Little Caesars. So shout out to Little Caesars, but still fuck Little Caesars because I didn't like that job. But one day I just sat down and I was like, I looked 5 years down the road and I was like, what do I want to do? And with what I was doing with school and like working the 9 to 5 at Little Caesars, I was like, this is not gonna bring me where I want to be. So one day I just decided to look up on the internet like ways to make money online. So when I looked it up, I found out about affiliate marketing, Amazon FBA, and working on Fiverr as like a
freelancer and stuff.
So yeah. And like none of those really stood out to me. And then I found this video of like this like 15-year-old kid. I don't remember who it was.
Was it Beiza?
It might have been by
For me, it was Hayden Bowles.
Hayden Bowles, okay, yeah.
There was an ad, Hayden Bowles.
But yeah, it was like this 15-year-old kid. And me, I was 18 at the time. And he was basically talking about how he's making like 6 figures a month with dropshipping. So then, like, when I heard that, I was like, yo, what is that? Like, how is he making 6 figures a month? So when I dug a little bit more into it. And then when I found out what it was, I was like, this is how I'm going to be making. Like, this is how I want to make my money with econ. So that same day, after watching that video, I just looked up all of the stuff about dropshipping. So product research and how to build a store.
Action taker.
Yeah, exactly. That same day. So that day I probably stood up till like 5-6 a.m. I watched a tutorial on how to build a store, and then once I spent the whole day building the store. The first product I ran, I still remember this. I feel like everybody remembers the first product they ran, right?
Yeah.
Me, it was like a diaper bag, and like on the side it has like a USB where you could plug stuff into it to charge your phone, or if you had like those little cup warmers for the baby bottles, you can like plug it into it, charge it on there too. And I spent the whole day. I stood up till 5-6 a.m. to build this store, and then I went to sleep. And then the next day, I spent the whole day, creating the video ads. So I built one video ads, and then like this is kind of where Shelton comes into my e-com journey. So I spent the whole day. It took me a while to build that first video ad. And then once I finished, I took a break and I went on my phone and I was just going to Snapchat and I was just going through everybody's story. And I stumbled upon Shelton's story, and it was like him posting like he did like, I think it was like 250,000 in the past 30 days with dropshipping. So I was like, As soon as I seen that, I was like, okay, I gotta get it back to work. And we finished the video ads. So with the video I watched, they said you need 3 video ads to start. So I built the other 2. And then after I was done, I hit up Shelton and I was like, yo, I'm about to launch I don't know the exact mention, but there's something like, I'm about to launch my e-com store. And like, it's cool to see you doing numbers or something like that. And then Shelton hit me back and was like, yo, send me your store, send me like your video ads and everything you're gonna launch, and I'm gonna look over it.
Yeah.
And then he looked over and then he said like, yo, this was actually pretty good for your first store. He said the video ads are pretty good for like your first ever store that you're gonna run. And then he sent me a video of like the Facebook ad strategy from VRM Ecom. It was like a VRM Ecom video.
Yeah.
And then I watched that, launched the ads. I watched the video and launched the ads with the exact same strategy. Then the next day I woke up, 2 sales, sent Shelton the results. And I was so hyped. So I sent Shelton the results. And then that first day, I think I ended up doing like 4 sales. So with that, I knew that the concept worked, and I knew that dropshipping is how I was going to end up doing, what I was going to end up doing to be successful.
For sure.
That's how I found it.
Yeah, it was a crazy journey too. And it was like, for me, like mind you, like I'm in a position where at the time, a lot of people are like seeing what I'm doing and they kind of just want to eat off of it, but you actually went out, like you did everything, and like Mac's always been somebody like, he'll go out, he'll do whatever he has to do. If he doesn't understand anything, like he'll ask a question, like the same way we'll all do it. You know what I mean? And so like the difference is like I saw in Mac like, bro, this guy's always been a guy that's been quiet. He just goes out, he does whatever he has to do, like, and he just figures things out. Like, bro, when we used to play football, and like, mind you, me and Mac were like, we were locked in because I would play quarterback and he played running back, but we didn't talk that much.
Yeah.
You know? But it was one of those. We're just like, all right, we're gonna do this. All right, we're doing it. Touchdown. You know? You know? So it was like one of those. So it was like when I seen him doing that, like I was genuinely happy because it's difficult to just find people that have the same mindset as you, and for him to have gone out and just like he built his website and it was actually good. You know? Yeah. Like a lot of people like build their first website, it's half-assed, and then they're like, yo, somebody help me, whatever. You know, but like he went out, like he actually made the thing look good, made it work, got his first sales on like his first day, which is like a lot better than a large majority of people out there. So it kind of just shows like dedication, it shows character. You know, so like I saw that, bro, I was hyped. I was hyped. I'm like, no way, bro. You know, so that was kind of crazy. Do you want to get into like the wavy snorkel story?
Wavy snorkel? Yeah, it's kind of depressing, but yeah, I'll get into it. So that first store, I ended up scaling it to like maybe 1,000 something in revenue, and maybe lost like $300. Now knowing what I know now, I probably could have made it work, but back then it was my first store, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So I lost $300, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna turn it off. So second store, I was scrolling through Facebook, and I seen this. I still remember the brand. It's called Sea Snorkel. I don't know if they're still running it. And it was basically the product was like a full face snorkel mask. So when I seen that, it was like June. So it was like right at the beginning of summer. So when I seen that product, I was like, okay, this could go crazy over the summer. So I built the store. This time I used like a page builder and really like took my time with building a one product store. And I launched the...
That was the first time I seen page builders too. Like Mac introduced me to page builders.
Yeah. So it was all built custom on a page builder. It took me a while, and then I actually didn't create the video as this time. This time I actually bought from, Sharif's thing?
Bands Off Ads.
Bands Off Ads, yeah. I bought it from that, and then I launched the ads, and it went crazy. Like, I launched a $100 CBO, and like the first day, did like $400 in sales. Yeah. And then I sent it to Shelton, and he was like, yo, how do I told him like, yo, how do I sell this? Because it's going crazy. So I added him to the ad account. And we started scaling it. So I just told him what I was doing, and then he said, yeah, that's a good way of scaling it. And then like the next day, I think he did like $1,000 in revenue. So every day I just kept scaling it. And I think it got to a point where I was doing like 3K a day. And like the ROAS was like a 5 ROAS. So it was like super, super profitable. And then what happened is like, I think on like the 4th day, like when you scale a store that fast, I ain't know, but like, cause it was my first time scaling the store. So I ain't know, but you get hit with crazy holes. So I was still using PayPal. So I think I ended up getting like 4,000 held from PayPal, and then like on Shopify payments, I had like 15K being held while I was still in the store. So what happens is that you have to upload the documents. So I ended up uploading the documents, and I still kept scaling the ads, while the old ad was still like being like
the money was still held. Yeah,
the money was still being held. So and I kept scaling it, So what happened is I uploaded the documents, and I thought that they told me it was gonna take 48 hours to review it. And I thought after the 48 hours, like Shopify was just after they reviewed it, they were gonna release the payment. So I just kept scaling it. So it was done with me, but I just kept scaling it. And what ended up happening is that like I didn't have the cash flow for how much I was scaling it. So I scaled the ads way, way too quick. And what happened is after the 48 hours, I still didn't get the payout. PayPal told me it's gonna take 90 days or something, or 100 days to release it.
Fuck PayPal.
Yeah, you know what I heard about that? I heard that they take those holds and they invest your money.
Really?
Yeah, I swear, that's what I heard.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what a bank does too.
Yeah, so yeah, I got completely fucked by both PayPal and Shopify payments. So I didn't get the payout.
You didn't get the payout?
Yeah, I didn't get the payout. So I kept selling it, and I didn't get none of the money I made. Like all the revenue, I didn't get none of the money. So what happened is after I turned off the ads, because they told me, you're not gonna get your money for like 180 days from PayPal, and then Shopify payments, they told me you're not gonna get it for like 90 days. So I turned off the ads, and after I paid off all the after I built for all the ads from Facebook, and I paid for the cost of goods, I was left with I don't remember this number every time, but I was left with like $5.42 in the bank account after I paid for everything with the ads and everything.
And how much money was on hold?
On hold, like I probably had like 15K from Shopify payments and like 4K from PayPal.
Yeah, it's like 20 grand.
Yeah. So back then, like, yeah, I spent all my money after everything. And so yeah, what happened is like that day I was mad depressed. After I seen like that, my bank account that low, like I was mad depressed. But I just said, fuck it. I called up my boss. What I ended up doing is I called up my little sister and I told him, yo, just give me as many hours as you can give me so I could just work while I wait for the payout to come back. Just stack up a little bit of money. So yeah, and after I got them, so I ended up just grinding with work until I got the payouts. And then once I got the payout, I tried relaunching the store and it just didn't end up working.
Yeah.
How it used to work.
So that whole process is about like a week or 2 weeks, like of you launching the second store and then hitting that revenue and then getting the whole.
Yeah. It was like a week or so. Yeah.
That's so fucked. Was it on Facebook that you were?
Yeah, it was all
spending on ads.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Facebook was mad back then.
Yeah, $5 is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I still the most I did was I think 3,500 in a day, and like the ROAS was like 6, 7.
Yeah, mind you, at the time, like he was running like worldwide targeting.
Yeah,
so,
worldwide. Yeah.
So like when you run worldwide, you have like a lot of countries in there, like just countries that aren't really high converting countries. Bro, for him it just hit. Like everything just hit.
Yeah, I was getting sales from all these random countries. Like,
can you still do that with Facebook?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You can't do that with TikTok, right?
Nah. Like they set up in a weird way. Like basically in North America, you can target like North American countries.
Yeah.
And like other like random countries. Like I don't know. Like they did it at random. And then if you're in Europe, you can target European countries, but not Canada, US.
That's weird.
Yeah. It's a weird situation.
Yeah.
But
you never see 5 ROAS nowadays, huh?
Like yeah, like it really comes down to just like having retargeting in place, and it really just depends what you have. Like on your front end ad spend, like it's difficult to keep that consistently. You know,
so it's so much harder than back in the day, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
This is like 2019, 2018.
It was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah, around that 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah,
during COVID or before COVID?
I think it was about. No, it was before.
Oh, it was June. It was June. Yeah, right around it. Yeah, that's crazy. So what would you say, like, from that whole experience? What would you say you kind of like took from that, and that you would tell somebody that's like in your shoes at that time to like maybe prevent that situation from happening, or like to be prepared for those type of things?
So definitely, what I would say to somebody, if I had to go back and do it again, I definitely, once I got that hold, I definitely would just pause the ads until like you got everything like situated with Shopify payments and PayPal. And another thing, do not use PayPal. Please do not use PayPal. Like the way I got fucked by PayPal, like it was crazy. So don't use PayPal. And yeah, once you get a hold, like scale it down. Don't do what I did. I just kept scaling up, because you're seeing, like I was seeing a 7 row. I was like, I just wanted to make as much money as possible. So I just kept scaling up and up. And yeah, so once you see that you get a payment, like make sure you get everything sorted before you. Make sure you get everything sorted with Shopify and PayPal before you start really scaling up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I was in a similar situation. What I did, though, I basically just added a bunch of Stripe accounts, and each Stripe account went down every week. So I had one Stripe account, it went down. They took a hold, maybe, it wasn't much, like $1,000. But mind you, I already had 15K on hold. And then I put another Stripe account, it was like a couple $100s. And another Stripe account, got to 4 Stripe accounts. All those went through like the hold process. So now I have like dated Stripe accounts that don't really cause that many issues, because they already got holds, and like I have like a proven track record with them or whatever. But that was like a difficult situation to go through, and it was like right during Q4.
Yeah.
So like I didn't want to turn anything off, and like, you know, so yeah, I definitely do agree. Like, obviously, just be prepared for that, especially if you don't have the cash flow.
Yeah.
But like, how did it feel once like those deposits started hitting?
Oh, felt amazing. Like, bank account was the biggest it's ever been. Like, felt amazing.
So you got everything from Shopify and PayPal?
Yeah, and PayPal too. It all got released, like you said, within the day, amount of days. It said they would.
Sick, because PayPal robs people at times, right?
Yeah.
It's weird, bro. Like, I don't know. They kind of just. But I know a couple stories. Like, people have like hundreds of thousands of dollars like on hold, and it's just been sitting there, and like they're just never gonna get it. So I mean, following that whole situation, what kind of led you to? I mean, one, like you were in school at the time, right?
Yeah.
What led you to leaving school, for one, and then two, what led you to kind of like quitting your job? Like, what was the situation there?
So what led to quitting my job is, so I started working with BMB. So what happened is, like, I don't remember the exact point you hit me up, but I remember I was at work, and then I get a text from him, and it's like, yo, do you want to make a lot of money? And I'm like, me just working in 9 to 5, I'm like, duh, like, I want to make a lot of money. So later that day, I ended up calling me. You were talking about how BMB right now you're focused on, like, you're doing a lot of web dev stuff, and you're looking for other people to build stores for you. So you had seen the other stores that I had built, and you said they were good. So I guess I would be a good fit. And yeah, so maybe like a week into me working with BMB, I'm already making more than I'm making at the. I listen, like, I made my last paycheck in like a day. I remember, because we were building like 10 stores.
Yeah,
I remember building like 10 stores. Like, we were going crazy. So like, once I started seeing how consistent the money was coming in from BMB, I said that I don't need to work. Just not. I want to see the point.
Yeah.
If I could just go full in and start building more stores at the time, instead of just putting in more hours at those seasons, I could just put in more time into building the stores. So I decided to quit.
So you haven't worked since 2021?
Yeah, since 2021. Yeah, I haven't worked. Yeah. BMB.
That's crazy. I think leaving the job for me was like the biggest thing. Like, it was such an obstacle because it was like one of those where I knew I didn't need it, but it's also the sense of security that you get, and like also you've been trained your whole life to think that you need it, but realistically, like, what they give you isn't that much in comparison to the amount of time that you put into it, right? Like, you could have a job that'll pay you, let's say, I don't know, 5 to 10K a month, but if you're sitting there from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, and then after you have to stress yourself out about it and all that stuff, like, there's a lot of variables that go into it. But what I like to tell people is, like, bro, like, as long as you can figure out how to have something that you don't need to necessarily invest a crazy amount of time into, have your bills covered, and then be able to use that capital to do something else, or like use your knowledge to like progress, like, hence why, like, we're starting in-house brands, right? Because a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now isn't overly time consuming anymore, to the point where like you have to sit there from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. Like, we run ad accounts, we make sure that everything's in a good standing, and we're able to keep ourselves afloat. But then running in-house brands on the side of that is like, where there's a lot of money that can definitely come into play, right? So it was like definitely a big thing for me as well, that situation. So yeah, bro, how did it feel like just leaving?
They felt amazing. I remember when I put in my 2 weeks, it was the best feeling ever, bro. So shout out BMB.
Shout out Mac. We ran into some technical difficulties. First, the camera ran out of storage, then the mic stopped working, but I think we're back now. So yeah, I think we're kind of just covering, obviously, like, just the value of time in exchange for money, and really just understanding like what you need in order to live, and then what you can do with that extra time, right? A lot of people value like money over time and are willing to just give up all their time in exchange for like a little amount of money, and not really understanding that taking sometimes a lesser amount of money in exchange for like a bigger amount of time. This is considering like you have the knowledge base to like actually move forward and like do things with that time. But yeah, a lot of people just kind of don't value that. That's kind of like what we were touching on, if I'm not mistaken. And just off that note, we're just asking like how it felt to obviously just leave your job for the first time.
I would say it was the best one ever. It's the only job I had, but I hated it.
You had one job?
Yeah, that was my first and last job.
Oh, way.
How long did you work?
I think it was like a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. But yeah, it was the best one ever. When I put in that 2 weeks, like, best one ever. So many moments that I just made me hate the job so much. But yeah, shout out to BMB for putting me out of that job, because I hated it every second.
What's like
Shout out to Mac.
the worst encounter with a customer, or like the biggest story you have from that job?
Yeah, with a customer, I remember it was once I was working the cashier doing like a dinner rush. There was this girl, and basically she asked for like I don't remember the ingredients, but she asked for a pizza, but she wanted green olives on it, okay? And like in the system, I put black olives. So when she got the pizza, what ended up happening is I don't know what was going on in the bag, but her pizza took a minute to come out. So when it finally came out, she checked the pizza, and then it was black olives instead of the green olives she wanted. So she started snapping at me, calling me a bitch for telling me fuck you and all this shit. I'm like, no, like, it's not that deep, but I get it, you know, but what ended up happening is I told her, yo, we can make a free replacement. She said, yo, I've been waiting for too long. I'm not waiting for another pizza. So she just ended up, you know, just cussing me out a little bit and then leaving. So
She took it for free?
yeah, she took it for free. Yeah, she ended up leaving.
Yeah. Bro, I don't know. People throw fits, but the thing is, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, it already happened. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You know?
At the end of the day, I wasn't even the one making the pizzas. Like, I was in the front the whole time. But she was mad at me.
But you punched it in right.
You know, it's your fault.
So they did their job properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about you? Like where have you worked, and like what are some like bad customer experiences?
My job history. So I've worked at Shoppers Drug Mart, which is basically, what's the equivalent?
That's CVS.
CVS, yeah, CVS. Worked there so on and off. I worked there for like a year and a half. Then took a break for school, and then I came back for half a year. Then I came back. Then I left. Then I came back for another half a year, I think, or something like that. So I've been working there for like 3 years, and I only left in 2021, at the end of 2021.
Okay.
Or early 2022, I forgot. Something like that. And I didn't have any crazy customer encounters, to be honest.
That's true.
There was one guy robbing the store, and I was there. So I was working the shift from 4 to midnight, 8-hour shift.
What time did you guys close?
At midnight.
Okay.
Yeah, at the time. Now it closed at 10. But so I was at the cash, and there was only the supervisor working. So it was only me and him. And this guy, he's homeless. He's known to, in the area, that he comes and robs stuff, but we never like have solid evidence, right? So there's a picture of him on the fridge saying, if he comes in, call security. So then he walks in right away. I started laughing. I'm like, this is gonna be cold.
You're getting robbed. You're just laughing. Wait, what does he do? Does he just come in and take stuff and leave?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like,
That's chill.
I mean, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna beat the shit out of him. I don't give a shit. So yeah, I see him walk in. I'm like, I forgot what it was. I think I said security or code something. I forgot. I called something in the intercom, and then the supervisor comes out, and he's dead. Comes out. He sees him putting a electric toothbrush, like $200, in his bag, and then he sees him right away. He starts.
Where's he gonna charge it?
What's up?
Where's he gonna charge it?
Yeah, that's actually a good shout. He lives in a tent. I think he lives behind the store or some shit like that. I don't know where he is now, but yeah, so I called him out. He comes out of the staff room and he sees him right away. And then the guy, like, shitting his pants, got super red. He's like, and then his dad tells him, get the hell out of the store, or else, and you're banned and stuff like that, whatever. And then he started pretty much crying, and he's like, please, don't report on me, like, don't ban me from the store, like, this is the only place I come and get food. He used to buy chocolate milk all the time.
Yeah.
Like, that's $1. So that's the only thing he used to buy. The other things I think he used to rob.
Yeah.
And he used to use the phone there all the time to call his mom and stuff. She used to send him money. I don't know where, like, his story, but I don't know where she lives and everything. But yeah, so pretty much he lost access to the only store that took him in, because everyone in the area knows him, and I think he's banned from a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's funny. He started crying. He's like, those people made me do it. Like, he was pointing at people outside. They're like, they told him to rob, and they would buy him a pizza, something like that.
They love a pizza.
Yeah. But yeah, something like that. That was probably the funniest story. I had a few encounters of people raging, but to me it's just funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything excessive, but yeah, that was like probably the highlight of Shoppers.
Yeah,
And then from there I worked a few engineering jobs. So I had a few co-op terms, a couple of them, or no, 3. I had a few co-op terms, each 4 months, and yeah, it was decent work there. It was, like, the kind of got slaved. It was like 9-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts sometimes. I hated my life. And then that's also where Shelton came in, told me to hop on BuildMyBrand. And I already covered this before, but that's when I came in, and I recently quit my job last month. Last month was my last month working after university's done, and now I just do BuildMyBrand and trading full time. And so far it's been good.
Yeah. Shout out your Twitter account. You've been posting numbers lately.
Yeah. been pretty good. Today was a pretty shitty day, but
It's okay.
yeah, that's fine. You get some red days. I was on a roll.
Yeah. So going back, I just remembered this. How about, so we talked about like you leaving the job, right?
Yeah.
What about leaving school?
Oh, like what made me take the decision to leave school?
Oh yeah, you dropped out.
Yeah, I dropped out.
I'll cover that.
It was my second year. Basically, like, it was basically because of COVID, and it had to be online classes, like, and because like I was paying for it, like I just decided like, yo, I'm not trying to deal with this. Like, I'm not even getting the full union experience. So it wasn't really because like I wanted to, just because of the COVID situation. Like, I decided like I'm not gonna go through it, and I told my dad like, I was gonna go back, but the reason I didn't go back is because like I don't feel like I needed, like I said in the beginning, like when I see myself in 5 years, I feel like school like just isn't part of that journey to help me get where I want to be. So I just decided like I'm not gonna go back.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I feel you on that one. Like, have you ever even thought about school ever since then?
Ever since, not even the day passes that I think about still not go back.
Have you taken anything away from it?
From school, like no, and I don't remember anything like even from the classes. Like the thing too is I was actually a pretty good student. Like the first year, like my average grade was like 80 to 85. But like that's just because I feel like anybody can get good grades if you really want to. Like if you really apply yourself, I feel like anybody can really. But just a lot of people don't really care.
But it's like anything else in life.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So the first year, I actually really cared about it. So that's why I was getting the good grades. But the second year, like I didn't, like I was at a point where, like I was working BuildMyBrand, like I didn't really care for it. So
yeah, and though like one thing I realized too is like, yo, we'll have months where, you know, we're doing bad or whatever, but it's like we always come out on top.
Exactly.
Like, and that's why like I just look at it, it's like, okay, even we could have technically a year that's not as good as the last one that we had, but at the same time, it's like there's so much more scalability. Like, okay, this year might be bad, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, you get it back next year. Or like every single day is a new day that, you know, we have a skill set that we could go and start up something new. Like the same way we've been talking about over and over again, like these in-house brands, like these things, bro, there's no reason why we can't go out and like start 8-figure brands. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we're more than capable of doing those things. We've generated those sorts of numbers in the past. So it's like, it really just comes down to us being dedicated to be like, okay, we have this project, and like we come up with so many different ideas, bro. Yeah. You know, like we've been bouncing ideas like off each other for the longest time. And
I'll say this every day, like, yo, BMB, I feel like we're like the best team, we're like the dream team. Like everybody in it is just like the best people.
I think so too. Like I would say like we're underdogs when it comes to when it comes to the ecom game, and like I think we genuinely, like based on the people that I've spoken to, I think we genuinely have people's best interests at heart. Yeah, you know, in comparison to like other agencies, like bro, a lot of people will, you know, do whatever they can to just make sure that their agency stays afloat. For me, it's like, I don't know how you guys see it, but like the way I see it is like all the clients are part of a family, like everybody's part of a community, you know? Anybody that comes to us for help, we build, even if it's just a website for you, it's like, okay, you know, like we got something done for you. If you need something on there, like, you know, hit us up, we'll help you out. Like, yeah, sometimes like there's certain things people ask for that's like annoying as shit, but like for the most part, like we'll actually like bend over backwards to do it for people, you know? So yeah, I don't know. I noticed that between like all of us, like we all share that same sort of vision. And a lot of times like there's certain things that might be annoying to us, but we just do it because why not, you know?
And we genuinely care about the client's success. Like talking to everyone on the team, like I sympathize with clients all the time, and I genuinely want to see them do really well and generate great numbers, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes like when stuff are going bad, or like ad accounts going down, or
you know, red months,
or even like money getting jammed from Shopify or Stripe or whatever, like we extend the
lifetime of like everything. Like we give them more opportunity to like delaying invoices, stuff like that,
subscription and stuff like that, just to show clients that we do actually care. It's not just a business transaction.
Like, but we'll put money on the line for them. Like a lot of times.
Like, you know, clients don't even know we put money from our pocket to get custom emails. For some clients to boost revenue.
Stuff like that. And like also we've taken losses on like COGS, we've taken losses on you know, a bunch of different things. It's like at the end of the day we don't really care, because we're trying to help you as much as we're trying to help ourselves, you know? So like everything kind of goes full circle. And I feel like the craziest thing though is like, and this I feel like comes into play in like any business, like, for example, your pizza situation, right?
Yeah.
Like, you guys gave her the food for free, you said, right?
Yeah.
But like, she'll still go home mad about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we end up in the situations with clients where like we're being inconvenienced, but then we inconvenience ourselves even more. And we like express like, look, we put this much money out for you, and like they don't care, bro.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's crazy. But yeah, I definitely like, but I do think that like, I look at our team and I see like the mindset that everybody has, and like we're all like on the same page. Like we're all pretty level headed. Like we all have the same end goal. We all care about each other like equally. Like we'll all, you know, apply value to each other's lives in whatever way we can. Like if I could do something for you, you can do something for me. We can do something for each other. We could all start something together that'll, you know, have the potential to go up there. Like that's kind of like why I feel like I say like we'll always come out on top, because even if we're doing bad, like, bro, we never look down on the situation. We're just like, okay, we'll get it back. Like we'll do this. You know?
Sometimes it's tough. Like we've been on this standstill for like a few months now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's discouraging, I guess, because you're not seeing any progress or momentum to the.
But at the same time, we know why.
Yeah, we know why, and I'm sure once we start launching whatever we're gonna launch next, it's gonna go crazy. Like we were generating crazy numbers earlier this year and even late last year.
Still generating crazy numbers.
Yeah. Like, bro, when we went through, we had went through, I think it was a monthly update. Out of like 10 stores, maybe 15 stores, we had like 260,000 in rev. Yeah. We had stores with like 40K in a week, you know, 10K a day. But we were averaging at one point, we had like 20K a day, like across all stores. Like some stores were doing like 10, 12K a day, 15K a day.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, we see those numbers and like, it's to the point, like, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, bro, if we hit a 20K a day, we're gonna be like, damn, you know, we hit a 20K a day. But like, it doesn't really matter. Like, we have stores, like if we put everything together and we look, oh, we've done like $500,000 in rev across like this and this store. We're just like, oh, okay, we did that. All right, let's do it again. Or like, let's do more. Like, it's not that serious anymore. Like, we're at a point where like numbers don't really faze anybody. And us, we want to see like the 8-figure type stuff. You know?
What do you guys think is the reason for the inconsistency? I mean, as of late, the last month and a half or two has been pretty good.
Yeah, it's been.
But before that, like, I mean, I know it's seasonality with Q1, but also we were seeing crazy numbers last year, and then this year it's kind of been down. You think it's a TikTok issue, creative issue, fatigue, anything like that?
I mean, partially. What do you think?
To be honest, I think it's more of like, because when we were doing those crazy numbers, it was Q4.
No, even before that,
even prior.
Q2, Q3.
I think about it, like we had. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, we were running. Remember the rose teddy we ran? Yeah. That was in May. I think it did 40K in a week, but it was because Mother's Day. I'm pretty sure. So like that one makes sense. But no, we did well from like May to I want to say like August. Maybe, and then it was kind of slow for like September. End of August, mid-August, it was kind of slow, but then come later, like it started picking back up again for Q4.
Yeah.
So
I remember during that period, like every story we're launching.
Yeah, every account was working.
Going crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. The thing is, I definitely think obviously like the season, like at the beginning of the year, one, like I think a lot of people are filing their taxes, so they don't necessarily think about going out and purchasing things.
Yeah, and they snapped Q4.
Yeah.
Everyone snaps.
Exactly. But then again, it's like, if you think about it, I think that's the difference between like obviously like having a brand and like having a dropshipping store.
Yeah.
As well, like the brands will kind of stay afloat during those periods of times, but a dropshipping store is just based on like buying trends.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's like obviously why things like tanked a decent amount. And then there's obviously like a lot of other variables. Like we could have had more creatives and stuff like that kind of incorporated, but it's difficult to incorporate more and more creatives if you're running like 20, 30 accounts and like you're seeing day-to-day inconsistencies. Like if you have an account consistent for a week and then it's down 2 days, okay, maybe new creatives, they, you know, the third day that it's bad or whatever. So like, yeah, there's a lot of different things that could go into play, but I do think that, I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think, you know, just managing kind of through that down period as far as like limiting losses as much as possible? Like, I think we did pretty well with it. Like, I think,
Like limiting the losses.
yeah, like kind of risk mitigation and everything.
Yeah. I think we did a great job. We waived some fees, rev share, stuff like that, monthly subscriptions.
Drunk tags a decent amount too.
I always ask us, like, when you waive the fees, like, what do the clients say? Like, are they like appreciative? Like, what happens?
Some of them are frustrated and like it's just a dry answer, and then others are very appreciative.
Yeah.
It's mixed. I think most of them are appreciative though.
Yeah, it comes down to the type of person too, because if you think about it, like, there'll be people that understand that it's like we're working together. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're taking a hit, like we're taking a hit too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then other people are more like,
we're making money and you guys are just mooching.
yeah, like you know, but not even just that, but other people are like, they only care about themselves. Like if we were to like eat shit, that like us eating shit resulted in them like doing exponentially well, like hypothetically, you know, like they would not give a shit about us. You know, so it comes down to the type of people you work with as well. Like our partnerships are like any other partnership in life, and it's just difficult because you have to be able to understand like what type of clients you're working with and this and that. So, you know, we're definitely like really stepping away from that as much as possible, just because we've noticed like it's been difficult to work with certain types of people and whatever, and we're really just trying to like build up that community. And I feel like we're at the point now where like we can inspire a decent amount of lives. You know, what do you think is like the next step for you, kind of like moving forward, and like where ideally, like where do you kind of want to see everything at in the next, like, maybe, I don't know, year 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is?
Next step for me is definitely like, so we've been talking about the in-house brands. That's definitely the next thing I really want to focus on, getting these brands to like 7-8 figures and figuring out how we can like build up a framework to where we can just recreate that over and over and have multiple stores just going crazy. And I think that's really where I want to focus on, is with these in-house brands and making them go crazy.
Yeah. You've seen Behiza's video last week? It's so funny because we've been talking about the in-house brands for like, what, 3-4 months now?
Yeah.
And then he coincidentally dropped a video the week that you guys started running it. Yeah. It's kind of funny. But he pretty much has the same vision.
I think it's big for us too, because we're trying to go community based, and so for us to just practice more about what we preach about, and really be able to go out and like show that, like, bro, you know, like in the dropshipping space, like nobody wants to show their store, they don't want to show their products, they don't want to, bro, when you're running brands like this, like it doesn't even matter, you know, like just being at a point where we could just show whatever product, like this is what we're running, go try to run it, steal their creatives, your shit's not going to work, like we don't care, you know what I mean? Like that's what we're trying to do. So and then I don't know, maybe in like 5-10 years, like I'm thinking, I'm talking like, let's say like family wise, like we've all kind of spoken about this already, like family wise, like do you I don't know, want a wife, you try to get married, you want kids, like what's the situation?
That was going in deep.
What's the situation?
So kind of short term too, like could you see yourself moving out, what do you want to do, and then 5-10 years as well.
5-10 years. Short term, within the next year or so, I definitely see myself moving out. I know we were talking about moving. I definitely see that in the next step too for me. But the next 5 years, wife and kids.
Well, maybe not 5 years, wife and kids, but like I'm saying, I'm going future.
In the future.
But I don't know. That's all you, bro. That's all you. Like if you want that in 5 years, do you? Yeah.
The sooner the better. To be honest with me. But definitely. Definitely, in the future, I'm trying to get mentioned. Like, if I can lock down on more girls, I'm not the type of guy that's trying to fuck with like mad girls. Like, I generally just want a wife, kids.
He's trying to boost himself up.
I'm not single. I'll leave a comment.
If any shorties watching, you know. What about you? What about you guys?
Oh, man, we spoke about this.
This guy's not watching Fuzz.
No, we've been through this. Like, I don't know, like the situation. I'm also like a person that is big on kind of just letting life happen. Like if things happen sooner than expected or whatever, I'm saying ideally in a perfect world, I want to be able to be in a situation where I feel like I didn't do anything prematurely, but I also don't want to do it too late. Because like I'm one of those like, bro, I want to be like, when I become a dad and stuff, bro, I want to be like, that was with my kid. You see what I'm saying? Like if it's a boy.
And about the daughter?
The daughter, like, you know, she could be a daddy's girl, but like at the same time, it's like,
It's not as fresh.
your kid's gonna watch this. This guy's crazy. Nah, I'm not gonna say that on here, but like, I'm kind of big on creating like a mini me. You know what I mean? I feel like if I do it at an age where like I'm too old,
Yeah.
I feel like,
It's not relatable.
yeah, like I'm not able to kind of interact with my kid the same way. So I don't know, like, once again, like hopefully not prematurely, but also not too late. But
You're the type of guy to get an accident, though.
yeah, nothing's an accident in my life. But things happen at the time they're supposed to happen. This guy,
Knock on wood, but
yeah, nothing's an accident.
So you're a believer that everything happens for a reason?
I would say so. I would say so.
I
But
believe that too.
yeah, I would say so. But here's the thing, like, when I really like think about certain decisions that I'm making, I feel like a lot of times, even if you feel like, oh, like stress in a certain situation, like, oh, this happened, I don't know how to deal with it. Like, I'm a firm believer that happened at that time because it was supposed to. And there's a lot of times where you're gonna want to go out and make decisions, and when you force decisions, that's when things tend to kind of go left. You know, so if, I don't know, let's say somehow in the next like year and a half I had a kid, I'll be in the situation where I'll be ready to have a kid.
Yeah.
Unless I did it on purpose. Like if I did really went out and I was like, yeah, I want a kid now, I'm gonna force having a kid right now, and like it's a premature decision, then like, yeah, maybe it's obviously bad. But if it happens in a year and a half, somewhat like an accident, I'm sure that like at the time I'll be like, yeah, I'll be able to do this, or I'll figure it out, or I'll get an abortion.
Well,
So yeah,
What if that happens and it's like, yo, triplets, some shit like that? Like, that's the type of shit I'll be thinking about. Yo, you do that, it's like triplets.
yeah, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but like, bro, there's no twins in my family that I know of, or like triplets in my family that I know of.
triplets actually. I wouldn't want triplets, to be honest.
Yeah. Triplets is crazy.
Sure, like,
3 at once?
where are you even gonna sleep, bro? They're gonna sleep on the floor? Like, this shit. Nah, bro, I don't know about that one, triplets. Where would you do?
If I had triplets,
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I'll figure it out, but that's like the worst case scenario with triplets.
Yo, could you imagine, like, through him?
Nah.
Yo, you know what cheeses me? If you think about this, like, you have triplets now, like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, my kid, like, he's gonna be bang, like, he's gonna be BMB, he's gonna go out, we're gonna teach my kids how to do this and that. But like, bro, they're not gonna be able to do that for like 15 years.
Yeah.
You know?
To me, that whole concept of like, yo, you're responsible for a life for the next 18 years, like, that whole concept to me is kind of crazy.
What do you mean?
Like really, like when you have a kid, like your job is like to protect, like that person is like in your responsibility for the next 18 years. Like, like that whole concept is kind of crazy to me. Like, I don't know how like to explain it, but yeah.
Why is it crazy to you?
I don't know, like being responsible for another person's life, like they're in your hands. Like, what's your,
Like, you made him. But I know what you mean, because 18 years is a lot, right?
yeah, like 18 years, like yeah, it's a long time.
So what are you doing, like, after 18 years? Are you, like, kicking him out?
No, obviously, like, you know what I mean? Because by that time, like, they're like, that's the age where usually you're the person you're gonna be, and you're developing, you know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
By like 18.
And yo, kids are actually mad annoying sometimes. Like, I feel like kids are cute from when they're born until like 4 or 5.
Yeah, but they walk around like shit everywhere and like piss themselves.
Yeah, no, but like it's mignon. Like, like it's cute. It's cute. And then from like,
But like, you want to deal with that?
ideally no, but like sometimes I have to. Like,
So
change
do
the diaper and
Do
shit.
you think like changing the diaper is cute?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, if they're annoying, like they're still cute, right? But then from like 6 to probably like 14, like they catch this attitude where like
Yeah.
get pissed off.
Like, would you beat your child?
Nah,
Okay.
I wouldn't lay hands.
Oh, they're gonna call child services on you now.
Nah, I'm a firm believer that just talking it out and keeps repeating the same message usually gets in someone's head.
Nah,
And
bitch
if
is
they
acting
still don't
stupid. I'm
listen-
smoking him.
Nah, I wouldn't lay hands. My mom would always talk to me, and I mean, I understood.
Yeah.
Even though as long as I did this, let's say she told me this is wrong and then I did it again, I'd be scared to tell her that I did it again because I know it was wrong, you know?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you always know that it's wrong. As long as that's the message they receive, I'm good with that.
Yeah. How about you? Would you beat your kids?
Whatever my kids, I probably wouldn't. I feel like it's not as effective way of discipline.
Yeah. I don't think your kids should be scared of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you talk to them about what you did wrong, and you make them understand why what they did is wrong. And once they understand, they're not gonna.
And also not 2-hour speeches. Like my mom, to make me comprehend, would give me 2-hour speeches where like, I got the message after 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah. Bro, I got locked in my room. Like I had I guess kind of crazy story. So I had a lock on the outside of my door.
Mm-hmm.
So basically it was like, if I was being bad, just get tossed in there. I had nothing in there and just lock the door from the outside.
How old were you? Like, did you have a DS or anything?
No. And like, mind you, like those games, like I wasn't allowed to keep hold of them.
Okay. Was it like a weekend type of thing?
Not really. It was like my parents would have it. I had to ask to play.
Oh, okay.
You know, so, but it got to a certain age where it was just there. Like, I don't know. It was like, it's very like kind of lost in my memory because it was like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I'd get locked in my room from the outside, and I remember I would lie on the floor like behind my door, and I would just kick it, like until like my dad came upstairs.
Yeah.
And I would hear him come upstairs, and I would go hide, and then he would open the door, and I'd run outside. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if like that is necessarily effective at the time, because like in my mind it's like I'm gonna get locked in my room, I'm just gonna be bored. But like I didn't really understand like why what I did was wrong. So I think really depending on what my kid does, it might be a mixture. Maybe a mixture of like conversation.
No, punishments I think are good.
Okay.
Also,
Let me ask you this then. So let's say, you know, you try to have that conversation with your child,
yeah.
and then like your kid, he or she starts talking back to you.
Yeah.
Then what do you do at that point?
Nah, at that point it's disrespectful. But
And like you're telling me like you wouldn't get cheesed in my hands?
okay. Not like hands. But yes, I would definitely get cheesed. I don't know how I would go about that, to be honest though. Because I feel like it's so tempting.
Yo, just take it. Like, okay, honestly, I don't want to promote violence or anything. I'm like, okay, well, actually, let me not even say this. Never mind.
No, but I feel like in like Arab culture, a lot of people hit if it's with the shoe or a belt or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty common.
Yeah.
But my parents never did that, and probably replicate the same thing with my kids because I think it worked out fine with myself and my siblings. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't lay hands.
Like maybe you were a better kid than what your kid's gonna be.
For sure. But it was a great kid.
Like you never got in trouble.
Nah, I would get in trouble at school, but I mean, what?
Right.
Nah, I'd get in trouble at school. I think I was a troublemaker from like 8th grade to 10th grade, and then I just went through that phase where like I would just troll the teachers. Talk about
This guy was causing trouble in grade 3.
grade 3.
Yeah, bro. I can't be a shepherd like that.
Nah, but that's just immature stuff. Like I was a dickhead from like 8th grade to 10th grade. Like,
Yeah.
that was just immature kid stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did cause a bit of trouble back then, but it was nothing serious in my opinion.
Yeah. So
You remember the 3rd grade thing?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think we should share it.
It's okay. Nobody has to know that. Yeah. So how about you? Like, well, I mean, look, like, let's say you're disciplining your kid, you're trying to have that conversation, your kid starts talking back to you. What are you doing?
It talks a lot to me, and
I don't see Mac as a violent guy though.
yeah,
At school, he was always the quiet kid.
yeah, I
Not
don't
talking.
not violent at all.
He would just laugh when other people are causing ruckus, but other than that, everyone was laughing back then, so it's not an issue.
Damn, if put in that situation, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, like, when the time comes, the situation will happen, whatever it is. Yeah, I kind of want to get into, like, we haven't done this yet, and your pizza story kind of intrigued me a bit. I kind of wanted to get into, like, I don't know, storytelling. I don't know,
Wait,
just
did you tell a story about when you used to work?
I I don't think I've even spoken about work that much. But so long story short, like I've had a lot of jobs. Well, when I say a lot, maybe like 6.
6?
Maybe.
I only know of what,
Maybe
5 guys, YMCA.
I did a co-op the first year, a paid co-op. So I had that paid co-op. I had YMCA.
Where was the paid co-op at?
It was at Algonquin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that YMCA, Bell, Lone Star, Five Guys.
Oh yeah, Lone Star.
Did you ever have multiple at once?
YMCA, Five Guys, and also YMCA and Lone Star. Yeah, but those jobs were crazy because it was like the people at work, especially the YMCA, like it was set up in a way where you were kind of like more self-accountable. And so the people there understood like, bro, we might have to like work a party together, but today I can't make it to my shift because I had a shift at the other job. So it's like, I'm gonna tell you, I'm like, yo, bro, sorry, like I can't make it today. And then you're like, it's fine, like I'll do the birthday by myself. Yeah. And then after I still get paid for it. So it was that, and then I was working the other job at the same time, you know? So it was like, yeah, I mean, stuff like that was cool. But as far as like a crazy story. So when I worked at Bell, right? And I think, I wish I had worked this job earlier because it was one of those where the work that they were teaching me was actually like, I found it necessary to move forward in like what we're doing now, right? Because like, that's kind of what taught me sales. That's what got me confident to like speaking to people I don't know, building a rapport on people, understanding how to close a deal, like understanding like the psychology of like sales. Like even though in that situation, it's like, it's different because a large majority of the people, it's like, you already want a phone, you're going to come to me. And then I'm going to tell you this. I don't know anything about these phones. I'm going to tell you this new phone has a better camera than the one last year and whatever. And it's just like learning how to communicate, put words together and kind of just make things make sense for people and being able to cater to your needs and understanding that, what you want to sell them isn't necessarily what they need. So understanding what they need and being able to put that in front of them. So that was like by far like the job that I've learned the most, because even to this day, like I still use some of the skill set that I learned there. But crazy story. One day we're working, right? And the way it worked was, I think it was like either 2 or 3 people would work a shift at a time. And because we weren't having a lot of customers, it was like we did a rotation. So one person comes in, it's mine. The next person comes in, it's yours. After it's yours, right? Luckily, this elderly woman walks in, and it wasn't. I think the camera's about to die. But luckily, this elderly woman. Luckily it wasn't my turn when this elderly woman walked in, right? So she walks in, we see her, whatever, and this other guy that I was working with, it's his turn. He goes up, starts helping her. They're looking at stuff, trying to figure out what makes sense for her, and going through like everything was regular at the time, And I don't remember what happened, but she was like just walking. I really don't remember like the whole situation, but she's walking, and then next thing you know, like I'm sitting on a chair, and she starts doing the fucking Harlem Shake on me, like just like she passes out, but like
I saw her did the Harlem Shake.
Well, she was like,
she had a seizure or some shit.
Yeah, but like she started Harlem shaking, but like, yeah. So no, she starts doing the Harlem Shake on me, and I'm like, yo, what is going on? And like, I kind of just like had to catch her.
Yeah.
She didn't fall, like hurt herself, but like she's lying on the ground, like, yo, I thought she was dead. Like I'm sitting there, like I'm like, yo, guys, I think we have to call an ambulance. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, there's a lady on the floor. They're like, what are you talking about? And like, it's because the guy went to the back to go find her phone.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened. They were looking at phone. She's like, yeah, that works. He goes to the back to go find the phone for her. When he goes to the back, she starts doing the Harlem Shake on me. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yo. She's like, go to the back. I'm like, yo, this lady just died. Like, yo, this lady just died. But like, I didn't really know what was going on. It's like, she could have been having a heart attack. She could have been having a seizure. But I'm a booster, so I'm like, yo, this lady just died. Go call the ambulance. So like, what do you mean? They walk out, they just see her lying there. Yeah. They're like, hello. Like, she's gone, like she's slumped.
Yeah.
They call the ambulance. Like, right before the ambulance shows up, she like opens her eyes, and I hear like her stomach rumbling. Like in a weird way. And I'm like, okay. And then she looks at me. She's like trying to get up, and then I'm helping her get up. She's like, "Do you have a washroom?" I'm like, nah, like, we don't have a washroom that's like open to customers. Like, it's in the back. It's just staff only, whatever. Like, we can't bring you into the back legally, this and that. Then I tell them, I'm like, yo, she needs a washroom. She's like, I really have to go to the washroom, whatever. She starts running to the back. Like, the door is locked. They're like, okay, they let her. Fab, she gets in there. She took a massive shit everywhere. Like, I heard her, the second the door closed, like, no, like, she's yelling, like, she's making noise, whatever. And we're like, yo, what is going on? The ambulance shows up. She's still in the washroom. Yeah, so the ambulance shows up, right? And like, where is she? We're like, she's in the back. She's in the washroom. She's not letting anybody in. The lady, like, from the ambulance, I don't know what you call them, the first responder or whatever, knocking at the door, like, oh, come out, because they want to check her vitals and stuff.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm not coming out. No, whatever. Eventually, after like convincing, they let her out. And then she was like, I need a chair. They open the door, they roll her a chair. Open the door, look in the washroom, shit everywhere. Like,
Everywhere, like on the ground.
yeah, everywhere.
She missed everything?
Yeah, like, yo, she didn't make it to the toilet.
Oh, okay.
So like, fully like,
How old is she?
I don't know, she was old.
Like 70, 80?
Maybe, yeah, something like that. But like, it's everywhere. And so me, I'm happy because like, that is not my customer. You know? That is not my customer. But it was still debated who's gonna clean it. And I said, like, bro, I promise you, I'm leaving this job right now. Like, when I signed up for this, like, at no time was I told, like, I'm cleaning an elderly woman's shit. Like, at no time I was told that, so there's no reason, there's no way. Like, I'll walk out, like, I don't care, like, I like this place, but like, yo, I'll leave, you know? And so the guy was like, you know, his customer, like, ended up cleaning it and whatever. And that chair that she was sitting on, like, we had to throw it in the garbage because it was like brown after. So I ended up throwing it out. He cleaned it. The ambulance took her away. Her car was still outside. She shows up like a couple days later to come pick up her car. And then the guy, like, I was working with the same guy, and he's like, nah, like, she's coming in and she's getting out. Like, like, I'll send her a I'll tell her we can't help her. She comes in. She's like, yo, sorry. Like, you know, like, unfortunately, like, I think he's like, the plan's not available anymore or whatever. She just ended up leaving, like, took her car and left.
As a matter of fact, I have a funny story. No, actually, it's not funny at all. But
didn't she say, I don't know what, no, I can't remember. Go ahead. No, because you told me a story once.
Yeah, so I was working at Shoppers.
When the lady fell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually not funny at all. I don't know why I said that.
Funny.
So, yeah, I was working at Shoppers. I think it was the first year. And it was also forget if we, or no, it was the second year maybe. I forget if we closed at 10. Because later on they changed it to 10, or if it was a midnight shift. But either way, I was closing. So I had to close the door. So I let the employees out, and I was the last one to leave with the supervisor because I was cashier. And so she was a pharmacist. She goes out from the front door. I have to lock it back when they leave, whatever. It's winter, so I have to, like, keep a lookout. Just look out for them to get to their car. And so my friends that day, usually it's my parents that pick me up. I didn't have my license back then. My friends come. They're 3. They're in the car waiting for me. I think we were going to go get McDonald's after and then go home like fat asses. And then she just falls on the ground. She slips, falls on the ground, and I didn't hear yelling, but I just see her on the ground. And then I'm like, I didn't think it was that deep, right? And then my 2 friends, I know there was 4 people in the car, actually, 4 of my friends. 2 of them went and helped her out, and then I kept closing the store. I didn't think it was that deep. They went, they helped her out. And then, so I helped the supervisor close, and then we leave. First of all, the supervisor is a piece of shit. He's supposed to stay with the lady on the ground. Turns out it was actually deep. She broke her hip and hand, I think. And the supervisor's like, okay, you guys have it under control. I'm going to leave. Left us, 5 kids. I was like 17 at the time. She's a supervisor. She left. In the parking lot, it was either 10:20 or 12:20. So it was after we closed. So middle of the night, we're there. This lady's yelling. We're like, let us help you up. Like, you could sit on your car, whatever. What do you need? She just, all she's doing is just yelling, not talking. She's not able to talk. And so me, first thing I do is I call 911 as soon as I get out. So I left the store like 5 minutes after. I thought my friends helped her out. And so I called 911 right away. And 911 shows up like 10 minutes after. She's just yelling the whole time. But I'm like, fuck, man, like, I'm so hungry. I just want to go eat. But I need to help this person out, right? And so we were left there alone. Ambulance came.
You're better than me. I would have just said like, hey, listen, I'm going to go pick up McDonald's. I'll come back.
No, she was suffering. I felt bad. And yeah, the paramedics came. They took care of her. Ended up calling her husband, but it turned out to not be her husband. It was her ex-husband. She doesn't have one. So that was kind of funny. He just showed up and took her stuff. Her car was left there in the parking lot for like 2 or 3 days while she rehabbed and everything at the hospital. Yeah. But yeah, that was probably the worst story that happened at Shoppers. Like, that one was not funny. The other one of the robbery was funny. This one was fucked up.
Wait, did you ever end up seeing the homeless guy after that situation?
Nope.
No? Never came up?
Nope. And I still worked there for like 1.5 years after that. Yeah.
Damn. So, I don't know. Well, before you guys want to kind of go back a little bit to like e-com, kind of a couple of things. Yeah. So, I mean, for one, like, would you guys say you're happy with where you're at?
Nah, I'm always never happy where I'm at. I'm always trying to elevate to the next level.
I'm never satisfied, to be honest. I'm not really happy with where I'm at. Yeah. I feel like I have much more potential to reach, and like, I'm not satisfied with where I'm at.
Do you think there's ever a point at your life where you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm well, here's the thing. Would you say you're unhappy?
I'm not happy. I'm not unhappy. No, I'm very happy.
So you're happy, but you're not satisfied with where you're at?
Of course not. Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. Do you think there's at any point in your life where you'd be like, I'm satisfied with what I've done? Like, you know how people are like, let's say in basketball, they'll be like, like hang up the shoes because, they're satisfied with their career, they've done enough. Do you think there's ever a point where you're like, yeah, I've done enough?
I think so. What about you?
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. But it's probably gonna be in far future.
Yeah, like I think like at 40, 50, like maybe even 60, like there's so many things I need to cross off my bucket list, you can say, and just goals I'm trying to achieve. So there's no way I'm gonna be satisfied in my 20s, not even in my 30s, that's for sure. And yeah, like I wouldn't say so. I am a happy person, and I'm happy with the day-to-day life, but I'm not happy with where I'm at in life. Yeah, I think that answers it well. What about you?
I mean, obviously the same thing. Never really satisfied. I think I'm much happier now than I was previously. I don't think I was ever an unhappy person, but it was just like.
Do you think there's ever a point where you were like down and depressed?
Never for like an extended period of time. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's one of those where I don't even necessarily think I could be like. I don't know, like, I don't really understand how to evaluate depression because there's people that obviously suffer from, like, chronic depression, I guess. Like, they're just always down. But then again, like, I don't know if I'm capable of being depressed like that. Like, bro, I've gone through shit in my life, and it's like, for me, I'm one of those where it's like, whatever happens. Like, if that happened, those are the cards I'm dealt. That's what I have to kind of play with.
You were in a depressive state, but you didn't have depression.
Yeah.
I don't have depression is what
but like, I think I'm incapable of having depression.
Yeah, I don't think so too. Like, not that I don't believe in depression, because I think it is a thing for like certain amount of people, but I also think just as soon as you're down, you call it depression. And to be honest, like, I think those people are just weak. Like, you gotta power through everything, Like, I would have called it depression like 2 years ago, what I was going through, but in looking back at it, like, I was just down for maybe like a few weeks, I wouldn't call it depression.
Yeah, I haven't been like that in a while though.
Yeah, like, I haven't been like that in a while either.
Like there might be a slight time period throughout a day where like, a couple of things across my mind. I'll be like, oh, like, you'll look back at like certain things and be like, oh, but
yeah, it's me. It's whenever you really sit down and like think, at stuff. When you sit down, but when I don't just dwell on it, usually.
But I don't really think about the past stuff either. Like, what I do is I fill up my time with a lot of things, so I don't have time to reflect back on stuff.
But the thing is, people might say that's like you running away from your problems or like hiding your problems with work. What do you think about that?
Not even though. Like, I don't think I have any excessive problems, any deep.
Yeah.
Like, there's no family issues. There's nothing bad with where I'm at in life, in my opinion. And yeah, when say I'm running from my problems, if matter of fact, like when there's a problem, I find a solution pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I want to just tackle the problem as quick as possible to just throw it away and move forward, you know?
Yeah. Watch him.
Yeah, what I always say is like everybody is going through something. It's just what I always say is that there's people that use it as an excuse and there's people that use it as motivation. So I feel like the people that use it as motivation to keep going and get better and move past it are the people that are going to find success.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Like I don't know, like this is obviously like a weird question. I know like it's something that could potentially get backlash from people, but like, do you guys believe in depression?
Nah.
I don't really believe it, but then again, I can say because I've never really been to that point.
Yeah.
I've never gone through it, but
Let me reiterate. I do believe that some people do have depression, like clinical depression, if you want to say.
Yeah.
But actual depression, 9 times out of 10, when someone says they're depressed, it's bullshit. Like, they're just weak-minded, I'd say, and they're just lost in life. I think people...
But I think it's even the same thing with people who might have clinical depression, in my opinion.
it's depression is something like a doctor could tell you, like, yo,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's pills for it. So.
Yeah.
But also, it could be from Big Pharma, so who knows?
Yeah. But I honestly think even clinical depression is like the same sort of story.
Because if you think about it, well, I have an answer to it, but if you think about it, like these athletes, I don't know if you guys heard DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Love,
Yeah.
NBA, like
no.
these guys are rich as hell, right?
Yeah.
And are for sure living the life they've dreamt of, but are depressed. So I think the answer to it is they got rich too quickly, so then they didn't have anything, like they didn't have the journey, right?
Yeah.
Well, you could argue the journey was just high school, college, and NBA, but at the same time, it's like they got everything they wanted so quickly. So like they got to bless their family, they got generational wealth, they got the house they dreamt of, the cars they dreamt of, the career they dreamt of, and so they're just empty inside because there's no more goals to achieve other than like the NBA stats and stuff like that. But probably to them, it's not that serious.
But then again, I feel like in that sort of situation, it also comes down to like what position you're put in. Like a lot of athletes will be like they're depressed because of the type of like the way that they harm their bodies when they go out and train, and like the way that, you know, because obviously like the NBA, the NFL, like all those things are businesses, right?
Yeah.
And if you're like a big player, like you're required to do certain things, and they'll push you through certain things that are, you know, potentially like uncomfortable situations and things you don't necessarily want to be doing. So I think that a lot of that stuff stems from, you know, like that, because if any of them just retired and spent time with their families and, you know, watched their kid grow up and made sure that their kids and their family like live the best life possible, there's no way you're gonna be depressed, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think more often than not, depression will stem from just situations that you're put in, or like ongoing things that you have in your life that you need to release from your life. You know,
I think that's just when someone's lost and doesn't have anything to strive for, any goals or anything.
Yeah.
Like I said, it happened too quick that they're just left there. Because as a human, you want to see constant progress, right?
Yeah.
You want stairs up and not elevator up, right? So, yeah, I think just if someone's saying they're depressed, it's usually probably they're stalled in life, they're lost, just don't know what to do. And then you can look at the gym as motivation. You can look at,
like, I think anything that has a solution isn't actually a problem.
yeah, that's what I always say.
Yeah, and so like that's the thing. Like I feel like people would be like, yeah, I went through depression, but if that was solved, I don't think it was ever a problem because you had the potential to solve it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I said like I have a hard time believing the actual concept as far as like clinical depression to the point where you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. Like I think that they'll just tell you that. Like I don't think that that's true. Like there's no way, in my opinion, that you can have a chemical imbalance in your brain that will result in you just being sad all the time. Like there's obviously things in life that make you happy, you know, and even if it's like a slight moment throughout the day where like, I don't know, you like candy, somebody comes and brings you your favorite candy and it makes you happy, during that, even if it's 5 minutes, during that 5 minutes, like you're not in a depressive state of mind. So clearly you're able to like come out of that state of mind. So I don't ever think that it's an actual issue if there's a solution to
So
it.
let me follow up. Thoughts on a therapist?
I mean, in my opinion, it's the same thing as like having a friend to talk to. It's that, like, the way I view it is just like another year. But at the same time, like, I don't personally feel comfortable going and spilling my business to somebody who's doing it for a living and who's only listening to me to get paid. You know, like, that's kind of, even if they like doing that, it's like, you like doing it, but you're here to listen to me because you're getting paid. Like, if you weren't on the clock, you wouldn't be here listening to me.
For sure.
You know?
They don't care.
Like, bro, you go kill yourself, like, they might not even come to your funeral.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I don't think they're useful, to be honest.
I think it can be useful for some people. Like, yo, imagine somebody that has no friends. Like,
If you have really nobody to talk to, I feel like it could be beneficial. To have that one.
But to have depression and go to a therapist, like, I don't need
I don't think it'll solve your problem.
I don't need someone to tell me what my problems are and how to get out of them.
Yeah. I don't think it'll solve it.
Yeah, I don't think
I think it's just somebody to hear you out and, like, give you open speaking.
It's a huge money grab. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Therapist expensive.
But mind you, like, a lot of times, especially if, like, you have insurance and stuff like that, like, those are other things that the government will fund.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it kind of, once again, it all goes back to the same system.
Yeah. It's just an opinion I have.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely feel the same way about it. And honestly, like, yo, we went to like a family therapy thing once. Like, it was so stupid. Like,
Oh yeah, I remember you told me.
yeah, it was the stupidest situation. Like, not getting into it too much, but it was like, mind you, because, like, I'm a person that prior to that, I'm like, yo, I'm never gonna do this. Like, I'm never gonna go there. The only reason I went there is because it was like my sister, my mom, my brother, whatever. It's like, they were trying to go. So, like, I'm not gonna be against it. If everybody's trying to do something, I'm not gonna be the one person to be like, nah, we're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what, let's go, whatever. Based off that, I honestly, truthfully think that I can form an opinion. Like, you know, people say, like, don't form an opinion on something if you've never been. Like, based on that, I can truthfully form an opinion. Like, that was ridiculous. Like, it was so stupid. Like,
You feel it was beneficial, like, at all?
not one bit, bro. If anything, it caused more problems. Like, if anything, it was, like, more problematic. And it was like the therapist would say, like, oh, like, are you guys gonna come back? And then we're like, oh, like, well, think about it. Well, me, I said no. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, I gave it a try. And, like, I came here with an open mind. But, like, yo, I'm sorry for, like, everybody out there. Like, it might be useful for you, and, like, you might have a great therapist. So, like, shout out to you. My experience was just bad, and I already had, like, some sort of prejudice on it prior to going there. I came with an open mind, and, like, you completely deceived me beyond what my actual expectation was. And so, just because of that, like, I'll shit on it. Like, I don't care. I do not care. Yeah. Have you guys, like, ever, like, experienced that, or, like, gone, or, like, like, has it ever been anything that you've thought about, or no?
I always
Right.
thought it was kind of funny. Like, I never took it seriously, to be honest. And then hearing the clips, like Andrew Tate's thoughts on it, I'm like, yeah, this is 100% what I feel about this.
What do you say about it?
He's just like, it's literally what we just said. Like, it's just bullshit. You don't need someone to tell you what your problems are and how to solve them. Like, you know how to solve them. You just don't want to go through it because it's hard.
Yo, like, mind you, the person that you're talking to might be, like, in the worst state of mind possible.
100%.
And, like, you're just sitting there listening to my friend.
It's the stories every day.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, yo, the thing is, like, one thing that, like, I've seen and heard a lot of, especially, like, in the industry that we're in, like, with come-up stories and stuff like that, like, bro, most people, it's, like, the similar sort of thing. It's, like, you were kind of lost. You didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I was there. You were there. You were there. You know, like, you wanted to do something more. And, like, you obviously understand that your purpose is higher, and, like, you're in a position where, you know, you might not be mentally in the right state of mind because you know deep down that you're not in the right place. Or that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
We're at an hour and 20 minutes if you want to end it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
That would change.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Bro, we're vibing right now.
You want me to restart?
Recheck my body. What about?
You want to do that?
I think we could probably go for another. I don't know. Do you want to continue, or you want to finish? I think we could honestly go for another little while. But yeah, like, a lot of these things, like, come from the same sort of stories. You know what I mean? Like, especially in our industry. So it kind of just goes to show, like, bro, you'll be in a place and you put yourself in another position and you see how far you've came, and then you're like, oh, now like I'm much happier than I was before. It's like there's so many different things that can happen in your life that like result in you having a change of like mindset, change of like emotion and stuff like that. So yeah, it like really just depends on where you're at in life and like what you're doing and if you're pursuing what you want to be pursuing. So yeah, like I don't know, like how do you ever look back at like where you were previously? And, like what do you think about like if you're let's say look back at your past, like what are you thinking about?
Look back to my back, like what am I thinking of?
Like what really crosses your mind? Like for me, for example, like I'll sit here and I'll be like, I remember like I was playing football. I thought that was the only way out for me. You know, like I was in school. I thought I was going to have to do that forever.
Like do football forever?
Like, yeah, like I thought, well, it was all I really had at that time. So it made me feel like I was doing something.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But like deep down, like there was a part of me that knew like this isn't what I want to be doing as far as career. And this isn't where I'm supposed to be. And like I enjoy it. Like I just recently started like just training again, right? So yeah, like for you, like when you look back at your past, like what's a situation where you're like, you know, this is where you were, like what do you really think about like looking at your past and like seeing how far you've came, like your journey?
Me before, like my whole mentality with everything was school. Like school is the way that I have to go because that's what, you know, my parents always preached that I have to do. So my mentality was like, yo, I gotta go to school and I gotta be great at it because I've seen how happy I made my parents when I did good in school. So back then, like I thought that was the way that I was gonna do it. So when I started ecom, it really changed my perspective. Like, yo, like school is not the only way. That's because literally my parents every day would preach like, yo, school is the way that you have to be successful in life. So when I first started ecom and I seen that there's a different journey that I could take and be at a next level that I really want to be, like that's when like my whole mentality shifted.
Yeah. And what was that conversation like when you dropped out?
When I dropped out, I mean, it was rough, but at the end of it, when we finished, my dad kind of had an understanding with me, and like with him right now, as long as he sees like, look, I'm good with money, like with him, it's good. To be honest.
Yeah.
For me, I always look back at it, I'm like, I came a long way from where I was at. I was working 2 jobs at the same time, and just not sleeping much and sacrificing a bunch of things to now living the life, like starting to live the life I kind of wanted and envisioned. It's been pretty nice.
Yeah. Bro, man, I think about what kind of kid I was. Like, bro, I was a violent kid. Like, I used to fight a lot in elementary.
Really?
Yeah.
I never seen you fight anyone.
Nah, I used to, it was probably, I used to fight a lot in elementary.
Really?
Like grade 3 through grade 6, like, yeah.
I got into one fight in elementary, like, I know it was in kindergarten. Some kid threw a chair at me for no reason, and like we ended up fighting because of it. So that was my first fight, like, and I think like, it was kind of funny, but yeah, the one.
Yeah, I fought someone in 3rd grade. It's kind of funny. So we were, you know, back in the day, you'd have forts.
Yeah.
So it's like you'd rob. It was during the fall and during winter. You build your forts. There's like different clans in the recreational area.
Yeah.
And then someone came and robbed Leafs, and then I ran after him, jumped on his back, and started ripping his hair and punching him. Yeah, I beat the fuck out of that guy. And then I stole the Leafs back, brought them to the fort. I didn't even get a punishment or anything. It's kind of fresh. We kind of had like a...
Bro,
yeah, it was fresh.
you know what? Because of that, I swear, what they did was they called everybody together. We all had to go to the library. We all sat there, and then they're like, "Oh, like we hear that this is what's going on, and it's violent, and people are fighting, and you know." So they like completely shut down the whole fort thing.
Yeah, there was a complete, like, that day when I fought that guy. I think it was like a 10v10 or a 5v5. Like everyone was beating the shit out of everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Nah, me, I remember like I would say at least like 10 different fights from like grade 3 to like grade 6 at the bro. There was one time I remember I was just beating the shit out of this guy. Some other fat ass jumps on my back, jumps on my back, okay, and he's like, because I guess I was beating up his friend, so he jumps on my back, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck he was trying to do. He was just fat, so he jumped on me.
Yeah.
Somehow I like shake him off. I turn around. I took his head. I kneed him in the face. I just seen the blood dripping from his nose, and he's like, "Yo, what the fuck? You kneed me in the face." I was like, "Well, you're trying to fight me." Like, I just left. He just left. And so it was like, I don't know, like those sorts of situations happen. Like, bro, even prior to that, like I remember like in grade 1, like when I was younger, like, bro, I was kind of just known to be in violent with people, and like there was a bad story. There was a bad story. To be honest, I'll say it in a very
PG-13 way.
yeah. So this kid comes up to me and he's like, this person is trying to fight me. Mind you, this person is in grade 6 and I'm in grade 1. So this kid that came to me goes back to that person and says, oh yeah, you know, like, Shelton, he's gonna come and, you know, he's gonna deal with you. So I'm like, okay, so I go and I was like, yo, like, are you beefing my friend? Person responds, I was like, yeah, like, what are you gonna do about it? Just not the person in the face.
Yeah.
They're like, you're crazy.
You're respected by the older people.
Well, because bro, like, really, I don't know, like, I thought I was funny as shit too. I was just like, yo, like, why are you pushing that friend? It's like, oh, your friend's I don't want to hear it, you know? So like, nah, it was like that. So just I think about that and what direction I could have gone in with all that stuff, and I kind of started to chill out when I got to like grade 7, grade 8, you know? And then I think about like obviously the sports, and then obviously how I was with education.
Yeah.
Which now I realize, bro, when I was in high school, I feel like the way that like teachers used to communicate, I used to feel like a dumbass. Like I honestly think I was like unintelligent. Like until I realized like I was capable of doing a lot of things that that person wasn't capable of. You know what I mean? So that's when I started to think about it. I'm like, yo, they're making me feel like I'm stupid because I can't get an A+ in French class. Like mind you, I failed French in grade 8? I failed French grade 8. I failed French grade 9. Failed math grade 10. So those are like the only 2 classes I failed. I don't even remember how I ended up passing them. I know math that's what happened. I failed French in grade 9, and then they made me stay after school like every Wednesday, Thursday or something for like a couple weeks. Then they just pushed me through. Math, failed that in grade 10, had to do summer school. Cheated my whole way through, failed the final exam, still made it through because everything else I had like 100 on. And so it was like, once I realized like you could cheat the system like that, like I didn't have to study. I never did homework. I never read one book that they gave me in high school.
I never read a single book. That's so bullshit, bro. They tell you don't read the resume the day before the test.
Yeah.
I did that every single time, and I mean, I did decent. I got high 60s, low 70s. Like to me, that's good. Because you got to look at it. You didn't spend like the 10 hours reading the book. You put in 20 minutes reading a paragraph. Yeah. Or like it used to be like a 3-page breakdown, whatever. Yeah. And yeah, you got a decent grade. It's not worth the extra 10 hours to get the extra 10-15%.
Yeah. Bro, a football coach came up to me and was like, I can get you into school with a 55 average. Yeah. He said, I can get you into school with a 55 average. Like, just make sure you pass your classes. Like, it doesn't matter how shit they are, like, you'll get in.
Was there ever a point where you actually took like school seriously? Like,
nah, bro.
Not
once. Like, not once. I think there was like, I thought I was smart as shit when they gave me, so when you're in grade 8 and then they give you a recommendation as to what you should go in for like grade 9.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in grade 8, they recommended that I take like college classes in grade 9, 10, 11, 12, right? The only class in grade 8 that they recommended that I took uni for was math. So I thought I was smart as shit. So like I thought I was the shit, but like everything else, they're like, yeah, and they made you feel dumb when you took college classes, bro. So honestly, that was like the only time I was like, oh, like I could low-key be decent at this. Yeah. Failed in grade 9, failed grade 10. I'm like, and literally like, even at that time, I wasn't applying myself whatsoever, and like they recommended me for that. So that's why I thought it was like I was gonna do well. Yeah. But I never applied myself in it. Like I just hated it forever, bro. Like you said you were taking school seriously. So like what was that kind of like for you? Like I don't know, because I never thought with that sort of mentality.
Like
Did a whole 180 the first year of uni, huh?
Yeah, after the first year, yeah, I did a whole 180. I don't know, like with me, I just always thought like getting good grades. I was just always like getting good grades because I seen how happy it made my parents. So because it made them so happy, just seeing them happy, I like to put the work in to get the good grades, just so I can see make them happy. You know?
Yeah, bro.
Like I said, like I feel like if you actually applied yourself and cared about it, like I feel like you would have been going crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone would.
Yeah,
exactly.
They actually truly cared.
Well, some people are actually retarded, bro. No, actually, like some people are actually slow.
I agree. I'm just saying, if you put in the effort, like you will get decent amount of grades.
Yeah. True. But wait, how long have we been on?
An hour and a half.
Okay, yeah. Then we should conclude it. That was a long pod. Mac, we got to get you back on the pod, bro. To be honest, I like hearing Mac speak because Mac doesn't talk a lot.
Yeah.
So sometimes like you just get to flowing. I like hearing Mac speak. So
That was a good convo.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bro, your BMB, like near pod. So yeah, definitely. I'd like to have Mac back on the pod.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, if we move to Florida, us three, and let's say Dwitch,
Yeah.
well,
quite every day.
yeah,
Every day.
Yeah.
it'd be entertaining as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, tune in. If you guys have made it this far, as always, leave a comment down below letting us know what else you want to hear us talk about. We kind of just get to free flowing and get into conversation, but maybe like some touchy topics or something you guys want our input on, whatever it is. Leave a comment down below. Let us know. If you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe. And that being said, this is the end of Pod 5. So, peace.